destroy our safe and happy lives before it is too late. The battles we fought were long and hard, just not to be consumed by rock and roll. Rock and roll. Capitalismos, favorite boy child, we must apologize. Cause up in the rafters a rope is dangling, spots before the eyes of rock and roll. Rock and roll. We know the devil. We've met him and shaken him by the hand, and thought his foul breath was fine perfume, just like rock and roll. Rock and roll. East Berlin, you can't buy a thing. There's nothing they can sell me. I walk through the wall, it's no pain at all. I'm born inside the belly of rock and roll. Rock and roll. Something to sell your labor for when hair sprouts out below. I'm a microscope on that secret place where we all wanna go. It's rock and roll. Rock and roll. Rock and roll. I just really enjoyed talking about the Slits. That was fantastic. I was slipped in the raincoats. Vicky played on Smeekon's record. Vicky Aspinall played, and once she appeared on stage with my favourite punk band from Newport, because there was 9 people in the band and they brought Newport County football kit to the gig, and the gig was like Scritty Plitty, Gang of Four, and a bunch of other bands at the Electric Ballroom, and they made Ralph and the Ponytails go on before the doors opened.
We were 10.
Vicky put on a Newport County football kit and got on stage with them. We played, and during the last song they opened the doors and they let the audience in. So very fond memories of it.
The Raincoats told me that the drum roll that opens Fairy Tale in the supermarket was directly inspired by Where Were You?
No. I was the drummer in the Mekong.
This has been amazing. Do we want to get some questions to continue this conversation?
No.
Yes.
That was peak pop conference. Thank you.
That was more a comment than a question.
Any other magnanimous observation?
It's been waiting 15 years for you guys to do that. Thank you.
Well, it's a bit weird because Greil, we did a thing when Greil wrote a book called The 10 Greatest Rock Songs of All Time.
The History of Rock.
History of Rock, and me and Sally went out and we played some of those songs. So we did To Know You Is to Love You and Transmission by Joy Division and stuff like that, which was great. It was great fun for us to play that, but to have Greil talking about the Mekons and then me playing Mekon song was like, we stepped into unknown territory today. I didn't quite know what to do. I was like,
how did that come together? How did that happen? That you guys decided to do it this way?
It came together because...
Accidentally, because we didn't have a plan at lunchtime. We didn't have a plan.
It was a call for papers, music and politics. I thought, Mekons, politics, paper. The proposal kind of wrote itself. And then I asked John if he would do it with me, and he said yes. And we didn't really discuss it again until about 3 days ago.
Hours ago.
Well, we actually decided what doing it together would actually mean 3 hours ago.
But just another little anecdote. I was in Manchester. We did the Three Johns, the other band I play with, had a sort of little revival lately. We did it. Mark Riley from The Fall has a great radio show on Radio 6. Download the BBC app and you can listen to his radio show. It's fantastic. They do live sessions. It's kind of like a faint echo of the great days of the John Peel show. But I was walking, we parked in a shopping centre in Salford in Manchester, and I'm walking through the shopping centre, and there's a guy walking towards me, I vaguely recognise him. I went, oh, Bernie, and it's Bernie from Joy Division, New Order, and we had a little chat. I said, you know, we've been singing your song, Transmission, with Greil markers. And it was like these two old blokes in a shopping centre. It's just brilliant, it's a great conversation. Oh, really? I like that one. I wrote that one. I said, I haven't seen him for like 35 years. It's just really weird. We're just like, oh, yeah, no, I've been singing it. We did it up in Milwaukee. And he's going, oh, good. See you in 35 years then. I don't know. It's very strange, isn't it? It's all new ground for me. Every day.
It's exactly what musicians say to each other when they meet after a long time. I wrote that one.
Yeah. Ian's not around to argue.
No. Well, you can tell it's a guitar player song.
Yeah, I just had a question actually for Greil. And Greil, when did you remember when you first heard the Mekons? When you first learned about them? And actually, Jenn, I missed the beginning here, so I don't care ask this, but do you remember when you first heard the Raincoats or heard about them?
I'll tell him what you told me. Because you first heard the Mekons when you go to interview the Raincoats.
Yeah, I was, in the fall of 1979, a guy came to my house and he gave me a single by the Raincoats, Wake Up by Essential Logic, and the first Gang of Four album, and none of which had come out in the United States, and I played them and I was just flabbergasted. And about a week later I got a chance to see the Gang of Four. They were opening for the Buzzcocks. I went to see them at the Fillmore in San Francisco. Their performance was so shocking that when it was over I just walked out. I'd wanted to see the Buzzcocks for years. I didn't care. I didn't want anything to get in the way of what I had just seen. So I went over to England the beginning of 1980 to do a story for Rolling Stone about the Gang of Four and the Raincoats and Essential Logic. And the last night was a show where the Gang of Four played, Scritti Politti, I think, and the Mekons played. And what I remember about that night was that I've never seen so many people so committed to ill health. And became a real Mekons fan. The people in the audience.
When we were sitting at lunch, I just said to him, actually the original Mekons just got back together. It was from 1977, we made an album, and we wrote 12 new songs, and we recorded them with the same people who formed the band in 1977. And Greil looked at me and said, are they all alive?
I'm just thinking law of averages.
They are.
After 40.
Yeah.
That's a testament to going out and saying what you mean in public. It's good for your health.
Everyone being like totally drunk and like arm in arm with each other swaying. So
really?
A new experience of Mekons.
Mekons sober.
It still really sounded good.
I might dispute that.
John, did you play drums then, if it was the original lineup?
I played the drums on Where Were You, yeah.
No, but I mean now.
No, I did, yeah. I sat down. I played for 5 days. I played the drums on I got all blisters on my places. Some of it I could remember, and other parts were just like, it was just a nightmare. It's very painful. So they used to say, slow down all the time in the 1970s. We were recording Where Were You? They'd be like, the roadie had to stand next to me and go. And we were recording, they were going like. All the songs are getting slower.
This was the old click track, though, was the roadie at the side of the stage, right? That's how it is. Any other provocations?
I also asked Jenn.
Oh, Jenn,
First time
yes,
you heard
please.
the Raincoats.
When did you hear from
about them?
yeah, it's not as interesting, but someone put them on a mix for me when I was 19, and I kind of don't remember like a time when I didn't know the raincoats though. So yeah, the CD.
That's pretty amazing. You heard them when you were 19.
Well, it was like 2008.
I heard them when I was 20.
I was 19 too, 1981.
1925.
I also don't remember anything before 2008.
Anyone else want to chip in here? Yes.
Jen, you also cover a lot of contemporary, not necessarily just female-fronted, but female-centric punk. And given that you're obviously thinking a lot right now about how fascistic or oppressive politics influence women in punk, who do you see as contemporaries of the Raincoats? Who interests you, who are active bands right now who maybe are influenced by the politics of circumstance?
Oh, like bands that kind of that carry on their legacy in that sense?
Yeah, politically and sonically.
Oh yeah, it's a really good question. It's hard to like it's hard to think of bands that do something that's like similar enough to what the Raincoats do and did to say, but I kind of feel like the obvious answer is Downtown Boys. I feel like are the band that America needs the most right now, and I wouldn't necessarily say that they're similar to the Raincoats in sound, but I know they're fans of the Raincoats. And yeah, it's a good question. Do you?
Yeah, well, Meredith, what about you? You have ideas about that?
Oh. the panopticon. I am surveilled. No, actually, like, the reason, obviously, like, Jen, I love you. I'm so proud of you. That was so good.
Oh, thanks.
The reason I trust Jen implicitly is because I see her. I've been lucky enough to hear her practice this talk a few times over the course of the day. Through her refinement, I've seen her like sort of take the trickle down of thoughts about fascism and how things are affecting, and it always seems like she is on the next wave of things. There's been a lot of talk at this whole conference over the last 24 hours about the collapsing of narrative time, and so bringing it all together at this point. And I think it also correlates with what Franz was saying about how people in former Soviet areas don't respond so much to Pussy Riot as a performance, and so with Downtown Boys and with the Raincoats, I would say Downtown Boys too, there's like a perceptive sense of authenticity with those bands, and where are the other like authentic bands? I think the question is like, where are the next authentic bands? Because as the panopticon and surveillance and immigration gets kind of stronger here in the States, you'll wonder who will be coming out as like a forceful voice. I'm thinking like futuristic. Also, Jen just knows a lot more than I do about music. I want to know.
Yeah, it's interesting because the like I've made some CDs for the Raincoats too, and like the artists that they seem to gravitate towards are like not punk bands. They're more like singer-songwriters, which has been interesting to me. They did a collaboration with Angel Olsen last fall, which she's not explicitly political, but there's something there that they connected to, which was cool.
Well, I think we have time for maybe one more comment, question, continuing conversation. I want to propose another definition of politics there from that lyric, "You can't live alone." That seemed very representative of a lot of what's been discussed here, and also why it's such a pleasure to be here, I think, for all of us, especially in this political climate. And that to me is another way of thinking of, as you were saying, there's music that doesn't seem political in its topics, but can be a political gesture all the same. And certainly a lot of punk rock, I think, was that way. Well, I have actually a question, which was a historical one. That wonderful litany of all the heretics and naysayers in British history. Do you both think, is that a list of synonyms for punk?
Well, I wrote a whole book trying to say
Lipstick choices you're talking about.
think, you know, when Mekon started in '77, we were sort of thought we were inventing the wheel and thought, you know, we were people who couldn't play instruments, and we were given this opportunity by the general mood and atmosphere of what was happening with punk rock, that you could have a band where no one was a musician. It was kind of crazy, you know, but at that time it made a lot of sense. And then as we went on, and even actually through Greil writing about us, I have to say, we kind of saw that there was a kind of tradition of that, and that what we hadn't invented anything, we were just part of some weird kind of cyclical flow of people doing that, you know, taking stuff back to the basics, or just raw kind of like expression.
And that seems like a good answer for Meredith's question as well, actually, then. So maybe on that beautiful note, we should stop, and thank you so much for this.